New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says a software glitch wrongly added more than 6,000 non-citizens to the voter rolls in that state, and hundreds of them actually went.
President Trump has issued that new warning to the Houthis. He says if Houthi forces attack additional vessels, that both Iran and the Houthis will pay a heavy price. This does come after reports indicate 2 Saudi-linked oil tankers were targeted near the Red Sea by this proxy group in Yemen. It also follows the 12th straight night of U.S. strikes against Iran. According to CENTCOM, the strikes focused on degrading Iran's ability to threaten vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM said in a statement more than 50,000 U.S. service members are operating across the Middle East and remain highly vigilant, focused, lethal, and ready. Remember, President Trump on Wednesday warned Iran directly, saying the United States would target one bridge or power plant anytime Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait. The president spoke yesterday from Georgia about the ongoing conflict and the actions of Iranian officials.
So we're likewise winning in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're ensuring that they will never, ever be able to do to us what they've done to so many.
Overnight, Iran launched new attacks against U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated that Iran will continue to pay a heavy price for these actions and threats against the strait.
Their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policy is an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price, okay? These people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal. They send us messages through other countries, third countries.
Here in Israel, the assessment is that this conflict could escalate in the coming days. Some cities across the country have opened public bomb shelters in preparation for the possibility of incoming Iranian missile fire.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, we've often worried that we may get world war out of all of this. Let's pray that it doesn't happen. Let us say a solemn prayer. Please, peace be upon you. Peace be with you. Prince of Peace. Let's just pray that the language of war is something that we can use to usher in peace. You know, sometimes that's the only language that people understand. But that's what's happening right now. Is something that we've sort of gotten a little Twitter bird telling us in our ears that we should pay attention to. Marco Rubio just walked out of a meeting with Sergei Lavrov in the Philippines. Marco Rubio was meeting with Russia seconds ago and didn't go well. It went actually bad. And the Russians, strangely, are saying, we want peace. We want to, please, we'll do anything. And Marco's pissed. Something's going down, man. I think it has to do with Cuba. I think it obviously has to do with some of the nightmare that we've seen across the Mideast, but also the bombing of our CIA station in Saudi Arabia and Iraq. That is, of course, not something that you can do in a sophisticated manner without extreme technical capacity. And this is something that I find totally amazing. And that the Iranians have gone from effectively lobbing, boulders like cavemen at us in the Middle East, which is what was happening, to some very sharp precision strikes that should concern everyone. It should concern you and me, all of us, because they're able to now hit our bases with proximity to our soldiers and kill 4 of them, which they did. And there was a dignified transfer yesterday all about it. And so, just stay locked in, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give you the rules of the road, what is happening right now, and hopefully prepare you for what's going to happen next. Today is Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. Iran strikes CIA facilities that were secret with extreme precision. Are the Russians and Chinese helping them? The answer is probably yes, honestly. So is the U.S. on the verge of war with Russia now? It's a proxy battle. We'll see. The U.S. just gave nuclear weapons to Iran's biggest rival in the Middle East? Oh, no. Dun, 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 dun. Senator Tommy Tuberville joins the show. Bruce Pearl as well, legendary basketball coach. We're going to talk about Sophie Cunningham and the phenomenon, truly the destruction, evisceration, the gutting, the burying for all time of wokeness. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wild time. We are winning. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Bond Charge will help you burn calories. I need to burn calories. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Well, between 5 and 6. Kind of depends. And I get my hot cup of coffee and I walk downstairs with my wife. And we sit in the driveway and watch the sunrise and get a little workout. Got some weights. And we have garage. A little garage gym. Something fancy. But you get that light. And you get that that beautiful, radiant red light that your body needs. Some people don't live in Florida. And sometimes in Florida, especially during the winters, that light is quick and gone. That sauna blanket's amazing, especially after long days. We're heading into the 2028 election cycle. Let me just preview for you. Get ready, please. 3 months. We're at the end of July, August, September, October. That's the midterms, okay? And then it's the presidential election cycle. So get ready for some long days. Get ready for some big fights. People will start announcing that they're running for president. You got to be able to manage your stress. You got to be able to get relaxed. You got to be able to detoxify. And that's what the sauna blanket does for me. BondCharge ships worldwide. All products HSA, FSA eligible. Go to bondcharge.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny to save 15%. These statements are from me directly. And this is how I use it. How are you going to use your sauna? Getting hot, by the way, in the Middle East. Whew, getting hot. Iran strikes CIA facility. Prompts questions about whether the Russians are behind all of it. This is not good. Let's jump on over here. Klein, I'm gonna go with my window here. Thank you. Posted at time that we went live exactly 10 minutes ago, Israel has entered a full state of alert. Anti-missile shelters have opened in central Israel, including Tel Aviv suburbs. According to Channel 14, this comes as U.S. plans to escalate strikes on Iran in the coming hours and days. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that things are going to get a little more intense before they calm down again. So now there is a red alert in Israel. I have always long worried that this is the kind of conflict that could drag us all into a much wider war. Obviously, Ukraine and Russia is already a hot war, and it's getting hotter. Listen, what's going on in Russia right now needs to be examined and studied, and people need to truly assess the horrors of modern warfare. World War II and the jungle warfares and the, Gulf Wars and desert wars, that sort of showed us the horrors of urbanized warfare. This is the first time, in modern history, World War I effectively was very much a front lines war. There was battle lines drawn, and that war never really reached the homes and industries and facilities that housed children. It was only in World War II where these things started to really break down. And that breakdown has only accelerated in a world where everything is unmanned drone. I cannot express enough. Please understand this. Drones are killing 90% of the people on the front lines of Ukraine. Drones are creating what looks like Independence Day here in Moscow. Look at this. This is Moscow in the middle of the day. This was yesterday. This is Moscow in the middle of the day. The sun blotted out. The sky black. Look at this. Not a Michael Bay film. Not a Roland Emmerich film. A real photo. Real footage from a large, very developed, very beautiful Russian city as Ukrainian drones struck a logistics center that Ukraine said was doing logistics for the Russian military. Who knows? I don't know. It's called Wildberries, and what Wildberries is the Russian equivalent of Amazon.com. Massive logistics warehouse. And this fire is insane. It's still burning. 72 hours later, look at this. Black toxic smoke that is making the residents' eyes sting. Now, the Russian authorities are saying you should wear a gas mask outside. I haven't seen anything like this in Russia since Chernobyl, to be honest with you. And that was actually technically in Ukraine. So I am no simp for the Ukraine war. I hate the Ukraine war. If it were up to me, all of these nations would be sent to the bottom of the sea. I don't like these foreign countries that cause me and the administration so much pain and stress, and I would rather focus on America. I don't give a damn about Israel. I don't give a damn about Saudi Arabia or about Iran or about Russia or about Ukraine. I could care less. I'm not going to visit those places. I'm not going to raise my kids there. None of it matters to me. I want peace. And this is exactly the horrors of war in the modern era. Unmanned drones are killing 90% of the people on the front line. They're also taking ground. It's a remarkable era that we're living in. Ukraine was able to take back 100 miles of frontline territory using just unmanned vehicles and aircraft. No men. So they sent in a bunch of robot dogs and a bunch of robot vehicles. Hey, Alex, can you grab me that? Or Danny, can you grab me that Zelensky sort of explanation of all this? And they didn't use a single man. And the robots took back 100 miles of territory. Huh? Wait, what now? These strikes are 400 miles into Russia. And there's no doubt in my mind. Of course, there isn't a doubt in my mind. Ukraine isn't a real place. It's not a real place. It's not really a real people. It's a total proxy war. Our CIA is running that war. That's been well reported on. This is us doing this to Russia. It's not good. I don't like it. And I hate it, actually. And there was only a matter of time before Russia starts helping out our enemies. And that's where we're getting. And this is what makes war so scary. And these global wars so scary. They're always so scary. Look at this. Again, this is what it would look like if somebody hit an Amazon warehouse near your home. How many Amazon warehouses are near your home? Well, there's like 50. You drive through Florida, it's like nothing but Amazon warehouses in every direction. Here we go. Here's Zelensky. Here's Zelensky saying, just pop this in. Hey, for the first time in a war, the enemy position was completely captured by robotic systems and drones without a single man being harmed. What does this mean, by the way? What does this mean when there's no human cost to the battle? Like, how much more tempting will it be to launch land invasions, boots on the ground, when the boots don't belong, when the boots are on Terminator robots and not on men? And you don't have to do the dignified transfer that President Trump did yesterday. So they're not going to do this for a robot body. They're going to do this for a human being. But what about these human beings that are driving the robots safely in a trailer in Nevada, and those robots are doing a full ground invasion? The robots took back 100 miles of Ukrainian territory from Russia, vice versa, whatever. That's crazy, man. What happens? How much more readily will there be ground invasions and boots on the ground if it's just robot armies? Have we really probably thought through this? Yeah, I think we have, because this is the way that it's all heading. The last thing that you ever want is to have these troops sent home in body bags and caskets.
Investigation as to how they were
Trump
killed in
yesterday.
Jordan.
No, they're doing that. That'll be released.
There was a report
You know what?
that it was Iran targeting barracks.
I don't know. Well, they're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
And look at that. Did you see that? Donald Trump, he always holds back just a bit. This is Trump's face when she says, how are the Iranians suddenly targeting barracks where our troops are living? Isn't that crazy? That Iran, which again is the equivalent of, there's creatures in the Odyssey that actually just throw, there's giant, the Lagostonians, is this exactly, they just throw boulders. They're giants who throw boulders. That's what Iran was. They're just throwing giant rocks at us. And then something changed. And in the middle of, out of nowhere, the Iranians were able to strike right here. This is Mawafa Salti Air Base. They were able to not just strike the air base, as you can see, it's in the middle of an arid desert, in the middle of nowhere, in the heart of Jordan, up close to the Israeli border. They were able to strike here, this containerized housing where our troops live And 4 service members lost their lives because Iran was able to fire such a precision missile at that exact location. And everybody says, what the hell is that about? Because they've never been able to do that. While they can hit like the general regions, they haven't been able to shoot missiles. And the CENTCOM is describing a very different type of Iranian ballistic missile that accelerates severely towards the Earth and then changes trajectory as it's about to hit. It makes it very hard for our THAAD missile systems to take them out. And so everyone's going, well, wait a second. Like the cavemen didn't just suddenly discover fire. Is Russia helping the Iranians launch and target American bases? Iranian drone attacks on CIA facilities in the Gulf have prompted U.S. intelligence analysts to investigate whether Russia is assisting in providing targeting information. And these people spoke on the condition of anonymity. There are 4 sources that said the U.S. intelligence officials are trying to reach a firm conclusion as possible Russian involvement in the attacks on CIA facilities. They cited the strike's effectiveness and precision, as well as Russia's broader technical support for Iran, possible evidence. It has been reported that that Russia is actually giving Iran targeting technology and shipping them technology for their missiles. Reuters and other media have reported U.S. officials have acknowledged that Russia provided targeting and other support for Iran in its strikes on U.S. targets in the Gulf region generally, but the intelligence community's investigation of possible Russian involvement supporting the CIA facility attacks have not been disclosed. 2 CIA sites were struck in Riyadh and then in Iraq. This makes for a very, very awkward meeting this morning between Sergei Lavrov and Marco Rubio, which just wrapped, and it wasn't great. I mean, listen, this is supposed to be some type of really important bilateral meeting between these two, and it kind of ended, well, with them both saying very different things, and then also it ended in like 30 minutes. So no one's quite sure what went on. So Lavrov says we want to return to the Anchorage agreements. These are the agreements, of course, that would end the Ukraine war. And Rubio saying the Anchorage talks failed. The sides need to look for new ideas to resolve this conflict. Do you think that we solved the war in 30 minutes over a conversation in Asia? That's not how it works. Secretary Rubio talking about Donald Trump's policy, which is not eye for an eye. It is a head for an eye.
Who the other day say or something about their policies an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye.
Whew.
I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price. Their industrial base has been decimated. Their defense industrial base has been decimated. They're losing launchers. They're losing radars every single night. They are suffering billions of dollars in damage, and their economy is a disaster. But despite all that, okay, these people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal, they send us messages through other countries, third countries. I mean, they're running out of countries to send. Even I had countries here coming up to me, oh, I just spoke to the Iranians, they want to do a deal. The problem is, every time these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon, because the price they're paying is very high, despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to let you know what's going on. Another man who talks very tough, but he actually can back it up, is the great coach Tommy Tuberville. And the coach is we're big time fans of the coach. He's going to be the next governor of the great state of Alabama, a state that actually makes a lot of these ballistics. Something I didn't know is that Alabama is so sharp when it comes to the creation of ballistics, technology that runs NASA. It's awesome. And Coach Tuberville, somebody who's a huge supporter of all of that development, will lead it through into the future and will be the nexus for whatever the next battle is. And the coach joins us live right now from the Senate. Here we go. Senator, we're so thrilled to have a senator on. We're so thrilled to know where you are. We know that it's tradition in the Senate to just disappear for months on end and never give an update. So it's awesome to have you here. I mean, it's amazing. We found a senator, which is cool for us.
Yeah. It's this is a different place. This place gets weirder every week up here, Benny. We, of course, we're being run by several rhinos and the Socialist Democrats. That's who's controlling the Senate right now. There's 49 of us, about 48 of us that really want to get something done on the Republican side, but we can't get leadership to do anything. I mean, we're basically, treading water, and we'll be going home this afternoon. We'll finish up the work week on Thursday as we normally do, and then we'll come back next week and our wheels will spin again. But, we live in a dangerous world. As you just talked about what's going on over in the Middle East and with Russia and China, I'm sure Russia and China are both behind this missile that was targeted and killed our soldiers a few days ago. And it's just unfortunate. They know, Benny, that the clock is running on President Trump. They know that we're getting close to a election time, and they're making things as difficult as they possibly can. And our adversaries are all behind it. Don't think it's just Iran. It's all these people that are behind this nonsense to try to keep us tied up to where they turn our people against all the American people against President Trump and this administration. But they are doing an outstanding job.
Yeah, we saw that in the documents that were released, that all the BLM and Antifa operations, those are all run out of Cuba, China, Iran, Russia, all of that stuff. Like if I saw somebody if you posted a black square, you're a Russian agent, as far as I'm concerned. If you posted a black square, you're like an agent of the Chi-Coms. Because you fell for the actual op. We now see it. We can see it now in the documents. Well, that's what they were fomenting. They were fomenting us hating each other.
Well, there's a lot of things out there that you can look at, that you can kind of put together to make ends meet with this. But there's a lot of people involved. Again, there's people in our country involved with this. And again, you've got the Democrats and the Socialist Communist Party now that would give up everything that we possibly have in terms of intelligence to put this president under. Heck, they've tried to kill him 3 times. Yeah, so why not just bring the whole country down while we're doing it? And it's scary, really scary to see the people up here that hate this country so much they want to change it to a globalist communist country. But President Trump's not going to allow them to do it. Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Scott Bassett, we've got a great administration now that are doing an excellent job, and they're going to push forward with this, and they're going to make sure that the American people have what they voted for, and that's for a free constitutional republic country.
So, yeah, tell me about Mondami. I've been really bewildered by all this. Why isn't he denaturalized, deported, and maybe even sent to Gitmo? The reason I ask that is because you can see last week he tried to meet with the Iranians while they're killing American service members. This week he is attempting to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. He's like a mayor of an American city. He's not some type of warlord Muslim dictator. Okay. I know that's like normal where he comes from, but it's not like normal in this country. And then he lied on his immigration form, like his naturalization form. Like the American law says you can't naturalize communists. Like it's like very clear about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the guy's a thug. And, he came here 8 years ago. That's when I started running for this position. It's amazing to me. We allow a guy to come in this country just a few years ago, lie about everything about being on his papers to get into this country. And for some reason, we have enough people in New York that would vote for this guy to run the largest and the most popular city in the world. It just goes to show you how close we are to losing our country. Right. And he will, sooner or later, he will do something more stupid than what he's done to where we'll finally say enough's enough, go put the handcuffs on him and get him the hell out of here and send him to Gitmo, because the guy hates this country. He wants to change it, and it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. We're not going to allow him, just because he's mayor of New York, to be able to change our Constitution and everything that we believe in. That my dad died on active duty in this country, and I tell you what, we owe it to the people that have lost their lives, they're giving their lives or limbs to put this country where it's at. And we're not going to allow a thug like this to change it and take us another direction.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember what they did to General Flynn with the Logan Act. So they were like, oh, you're talking to, he's the incoming, national security advisor. So of course he should be talking with everyone. But they got him for the Logan Act, and ruin his life. But we have reports that the State Department has to stop Mandami from meeting with the Iranians. And I'm wondering, like, why shouldn't it apply both ways?
Yeah, we had a lot of people that were railroaded back in President Trump's earliest first term. And General Flynn was one of those. I've talked to him many times. It was all a setup. Again, we've got people that have infiltrated the CIA, the FBI, all our agencies, all these bureaucrats, all these young people that have been indoctrinated into this socialism, communism syndrome. And it's just absolutely amazing to me that we're allowing this to happen. But President Trump's hands are tied to a certain point. But as I said earlier, these people will screw up, and hopefully we will lock them up and throw away the key, because they do not deserve to be in this country, even on trial in this country. Send them to Guantanamo and have the trial down there. Get them out of our country.
So if you don't mind, a little bit of friendly fire here. You're a coach. It's very important that your team is strong, that you run your team hard and make sure that they're tough and ready for battle. And Republicans are just not ready for battle. You say that there's 48 or 49 senators that are ready to do the right thing, abolish the filibuster you've talked about regularly, and then get the SAVE Act passed. But there's like 2 or 3 senators that refuse to do that. And they're now running the entire Senate, which confuses me, because when it comes to leadership, and you have a leadership background, like, isn't that the point of leadership? To be able to, like, metaphorically, whip the people that aren't on board and, like, get them on board? Isn't that the goal? Like, shouldn't we be able, if we can't decide, if Republicans can't do something that 90% of Republicans support, then who's actually running Congress?
Well, the way I look at it is a little bit different than what some of these traditionalists look at. They've been up here for a long time. The thing that I see here is people believe in tradition, and I do too. I'm a traditionalist. But sooner or later, you have common sense of looking at these 12 or 15 states across this country, Benny, that are not going to have fair elections. It's been proven. They're going to have sanctuary cities. And what's a sanctuary city for? It's not to take care of people. It's to make sure that they go vote for them when time comes to have an election, that they have enough votes to overcome, some candidates. So you have to adjust. It's like a football game. You have to make adjustments as you go along. This country needs to make an adjustment right now. It needs to make an adjustment in the Senate. Now, the Senate would be easy, because this is not a constitutional law. This is just a rule of the Senate. We can break the rules of the Senate. All we have to do is get it voted out by the rules and by the leader. But there's been no appetite for that, and it should at least be talked about. And we have these people that still come to our caucus meetings. They still are chairman of some of the biggest committees in this country. And surely to goodness, there can be some pressure put on these people that will not vote, for the Save America Act, and say, listen, if you don't want to vote for this, that's fine. You're going to go to the end of the line. You're not going to be chairman anymore. You can run. You can get elected again. But we have to have people that run this country that believe in this country. Again, it all goes back to one thing: getting reelected. And that should not be the number one goal. The number one goal should not be to hold majority. The number one goal is, when you have majority, you take advantage of it and you make the country better. We have not made the country better other than the big, beautiful bill. And hell, that came from President Trump in the White House. We didn't do that. It came from the White House.
I want to put up something from your colleague here that I find so disreputable and hard to read. It's from Lisa Murkowski. I'm not trying to create drama, but I just couldn't believe this article. Lisa Murkowski says, I do support voter ID, and I believe that only U.S. citizens should vote. And I guess she expects people to clap for her for saying that. Mm-hmm. She's a Republican. What the hell? But then she's like, but I'm against the SAVE Act because it disenfranchises Americans. What the hell is going on there?
She dislikes President Trump. Let me interpret that for you. She does not like President Trump, and she's not going to vote for it because he wants it. People in Alaska want voter ID. They have voter ID in Alaska.
Correct.
And so the people that are voting against the Save America Act do not like the President of the United States. Bottom line, game, set, match. That's the way it is. And so we got to understand that. And so we have a majority here. And those people that are that are holding that against the American people in this country should be brought into the leader's office, and it should be talked about, and in a very stern way. Y'all want to change the rules? We'll change them, but we're going to pass this Save America Act. We can't get anything done. I mean, look, the Senate or the House passed it yesterday, put it in reconciliation, Save America Act. Well, what's going to happen? This Democrat parliamentarian is going to kick it out very first thing. And it's not going to be in there. I mean, we can play games all we want, but we have to get this done, because 15 states that are blue, we'll never win them again unless we make the elections fair. And President Trump knows that. He's been through it. He's been sued, shot at, threatened, tried to be bankrupt, and it's all because he will stand up to the Democrats and the communist country and the rhinos, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right. Wouldn't leadership be, if you have a problem player, isn't leadership like bringing them into your office and whipping them a bit? Like, isn't that the point? Like, isn't that the point, right? Like the point is to put some pressure on, and to fix, like to find resolution. It's just crazy to me. So that they're just, so this is just vindictiveness against President Trump.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, I coached for a long time, and, you work your butt off to win games, and you have to keep 100 young men going in the same direction to be successful every week. And you're getting ready to play a big game, and then your star running back, he goes out and gets in a fight and gets drunk in a bar during the week of a game, and you bring him in, and what do? You're going to let him play? Well, heck no, you're not going to let him play, because if you let him play, it ruins the future for the rest of those players on the team. Same thing here. You have people that are making decisions against, so 49 of us are wrong. 4 of them are right and 49 of us are wrong. That is how this is going up here, and it's not right. And it goes back to leadership. And again, we have 4 or 5 people that are in leadership. They need to sit down and work this out one way or the other. Just tell us, are you going to do anything, or are we just going to sit here and let this country crumble, because that's what's going on?
Yeah. Real quickly here, Coach, you always impart such wisdom to us on this show. You do so with your Southern drawl. People love you for that. And I saw, obviously, that in full measure at Auburn when we were at like a big stadium event for Turning Point. It was great. But you're a man of the South, and you're beloved in the South. And I have a clip here of, well, maybe the future leader for the Democrats in the Senate. Who knows? It's AOC. And she happens to be trying out her own version of a Southern drawl. I'd love to get your reaction to this.
We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind.
What was that accent exactly? Would that pass in Auburn?
No, she's just making fun of us. She's a bartender from New York that has built a reputation off of social media. She's going to run for president, and she'll have a bunch of people that'll vote for her just for simple fact that she goes out and she does things like this, makes fun of us. She can make fun of the South all she wants, but you know who's controlling this country right now? The South is controlling it. Most of the people in the military, Benny, are from the South. Most of the people that believe in the Constitution and the future of this country are from the South. We have some good people in other states, but you put, as she just brought up, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, Florida. I mean, you look at our base. That's where our base is at, and most of our Christian values come from and are still there in those states. She's making fun of them. She makes fun of everything that we do. She came to Alabama talking about this redistricting nonsense, and she had maybe 3 people come out to her little so-called rally. Okay, she couldn't get to first base running for dog catcher in the South. So I hope she runs for president.
I know we got to go here. We got to wrap real quick. As governor, are you gonna? I think there's one more pesky district in Alabama. Is that correct? There's one more gerrymandered district for Democrats. Is that correct in Alabama? Do I have my maps right? Yeah,
we're a 6-1 state now. And hopefully we can win that 1 seat back, and then we have another seat, and we'll look at it, when we get in the governor's seat and see what we can do, because we are We believe in the Constitution. We believe in God, family, and Constitution. And if you're going to side with these communists, you don't need to be representing anybody in our state.
So you are committing right now, as governor, to making sure that you don't have a gerrymandered congressional ghetto in Alabama that's just handed over to the Democrats.
Represent your people. That's what this is about. If you want to get to gerrymandering, go look at what they've done in the Northeast. My God, we don't have any representation up there. And but we're going to represent the people, and representation of people in our state believe in God, family, and country. And I think we can work on that and make it happen.
All right. Okay. Well, Godspeed, Senator. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Everybody follow Senator, soon to be Governor Tommy Tuberville, an absolute American hero. Thank you, Patriot.
Thank you, Benny. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got another coach locked and loaded, ready to go. I've been shouting out Auburn. The former Auburn Tigers basketball coach, legend Bruce Pearl, will be joining our program in just one moment, ladies and gentlemen. But first, before we call that Patriot, we use Patriot Mobile to call our Patriots. Sometimes it's just too corny. Am I allowed to have one dad joke? I think that I have a dad joke permission slip, like a card, right? Like it's like a card. Okay. It's a card. People have various cards. I have a dad joke card. I have 4 kids. I think that every father is entitled to 4 dad jokes a day. You get a dad joke every single child that you have. And so you get I'm entitled to 4 dad jokes a day. So there's my dad joke. I call a Patriot on Patriot Mobile. That's because it's the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the whole gosh darned world, dadgum world, as Tim Burchett would say. Patriot Mobile has Wi-Fi hotspots. My family will be traveling this weekend, and we will be taking a hotspot with us, ladies and gentlemen. Get the hottest cell phone service around. PatriotMobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code Benny for a free month of service. PatriotMobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about, just really quickly, what's going on and how much victory that we've had in the culture wars. It's incredible. So Sophie Cunningham is a WNBA player who's famous for the point. Do we have the point? Hey, Alex, if we don't have the point, I'm going to literally stand here and wait for the point. We're going to stand here and wait. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the point. There it is. Oh, yeah. Hey-o. What up, Soph? So this has been memed 100 million times. Can we please grab like the greatest memes of all of this? It's free for all Friday, so let's do it. So Sophie Cunningham is famous for her pointing, also famous for protecting Caitlin Clark, who's a national hero, a former Iowa Hawkeye like me. And she just gave an interview to ESPN where she said the thing that we have all been waiting for a female athlete to say, are like for the last 10 years of a fever dream, where these poor female athletes have had to shut up and sit down because men are there to beat them up. That's what we've just lived through. So let men domestically abuse you and your daughters, your wives, your kids on the court, win Olympic gold medals, and you're not allowed to say anything about it. And that's what happened. And the women were like culled into silence. It's totally and completely beautiful. I love that. Totally and completely evil. And now Sophie Cunningham, who's at, by the way, the height of her fame right now, says, I got a lot of negative feedback when asked about the trans issue by ESPN. And I'm like, don't care. I think that I'm here to extend love, but I also think that love is truth and being honest. And I want to protect young girls in a locker room, young girls in a sport who shouldn't have to go against a biological man. Now, why is that important that Sophie Cunningham just said that? And she doubled down on it, actually, when asked about it in an interview here. The reason why it's important that she said that is because, one, it's the breaking of the fever dream that men and women are the same and that mentally ill men should be allowed to go out and beat up women or to change with them in a locker room. Obviously, that's just pure perversion. It's a crime. It's actually a crime, right? So not only is it a criminal offense, but also from a cultural perspective, not just a criminal perspective, from a cultural perspective, to have the most famous WNBA player saying this and being able to base it on truth. Notice how she says it here. Love is truth. So what is truth exactly? Truth is the first book of Genesis. God maketh you man and woman. That's what he says. God makes man and woman. He makes them distinct. He makes them with different roles. He makes them different, and that's, by the way, biological reality. Certainly, there are some very strong women, very fast women, but the reality is that men, on average, are much stronger, much faster, much taller, much bigger, have faster twitch muscles, have very different muscle growth capacities. Women have other, by the way, advantages biologically. Women have higher endurance levels. The way that oxygen, the way they can reoxygenate is faster than men. There are biological advantages, disadvantages, whatever you want to call them. We're just different. And that's just the reality. And we're different down to our very bones and down to our very cellular structure. Like, it doesn't matter what you put into you, but it doesn't matter how many times you're cast as Achilles, right? Like, when an archaeologist digs up your bones, they'll look at the chromosomes and say, XX or XY. You were a woman or a man. And you ain't going to be able to change that. And so that's like, it's so wonderful to see somebody with such fame say this. Here's Sophie Cunningham. I can't wait to talk with legendary Auburn basketball coach Bruce Pearl about this. Here she is.
That same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just, can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah. Do you see your advocacy on that, like, taking any form going forward?
You know, I don't know. I'm not a very political person, but I do have beliefs. I have morals, and I'll always stand on those and be true to who I am. And I think people are going to take it how they want to take it, but I've never even really said anything about that. And so when it comes just to protecting young girls in sport and women in sport, I feel very strongly about that. I think that's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports.
Peace. Peace. This is us winning the culture war. A man who's been winning and continues to win for 11 seasons as the Auburn Tigers men's basketball coach, now currently at America First Policy Institute, working on the American Dream, Faith, and Family. Bruce Pearl, ladies and gentlemen, joins us live now. What up, Coach?
What's up, Benny? How strong is Sophie? She's winning right there, man.
Incredibly strong. I can't wait to get your take on this. So the floor is yours, Coach. I mean, this is, people don't, I think that's being very understated how powerful it is to have the single most popular female athlete and meme on the internet making this stance for common sense. A stance that, by the way, would have gotten you if she had said that a couple years ago, you would have been deplatformed. And now it's mainstream, and libs have no answer to that.
Well, Benny, thanks to you and many others, this is what the silent majority looks like. Okay, this is how most Americans feel. We just don't talk about it as much as the other side does. Good for Sophie. What would you do to protect your wife? What would you do to protect your daughters? Like anything. And that's how every man in this country should feel about our young girls and their ability to participate in sports right now. Benny, back in the day when you grew up in Iowa, they were playing basketball differently than 5-on-5. It was still the old 3-on-3, and this group played on offense. There was that's all changed now. But women should be able to play in women's sports and be great and be champions and get treated the same way that the men are treated. But they got to be separate. Otherwise, it is not safe for our girls and our women to be able to compete. And so good for our country that we finally got in a place where we can have this discussion. I'm proud of our universities. I'm proud of Title IX as the basketball coach at Iowa at one time, and Tennessee and Auburn, different places like that. We recognized that we were filling up our stadiums and we were making some revenue, and a lot of that money went to fund the non-revenue sports, the Olympic sports, and yes, the women's sports. It was the right thing to do then. It's the right thing to do now. And good for Sophie Cunningham for standing up and saying what we all think.
Please, what is your, you've of course been around college sports for 3 decades, correct? And so you've seen athletes come and go. What does it say to have an athlete like Sophie Cunningham out here saying this?
Well, I think it gives others courage and hope to be able to continue to say that. Benny, when I was at Auburn, we said that we were sort of an everything school. To whom much is given, much is expected. I was always going to other sports, getting my teams to go to those other sports and supporting them. And I'm old enough to remember at a time when, where the women were not treated fairly, and their ability for opportunities for scholarship, their abilities to be able to compete, the money just wasn't there. And it's there now. And it takes great players like Caitlin Clark to be able to go into the WNBA and in 2 years become one of the best players, one of the best female players on the planet. And knowing that, where does she stand? It's all about her faith. It's all about her work ethic. It's all about her being grateful that this country gave her and other women the opportunity to be able to participate. So I think this is fantastic. I'm happy for my daughters and I'm happy for my grandchildren.
So, Sophie Cunningham is now becoming quite a rock star and a role model, actually.
Well, she is. And there's a bit of sadness to that. Sometimes you get thanked for simply just doing the right thing or being a good person or trying to things that God would have you do. You're not doing them for the thanks. You do them for God's glory, so on and so forth. But it is a shame, Benny, when simple conduct, simple statements like that, we actually need to take time and praise it because it's so rare nowadays.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just a final question about this. Like, what is it? Like what would you say to Sophie Cunningham as a coach? Because some coaches would be like, stay away from that. Don't touch that issue. You're going to get bad headlines. Obviously, you're going to get a ton of hate. You get death threats, right? This very violent contingent of society.
Well, Benny, I think they say don't talk about religion and politics. Okay. The greatest way you could hurt somebody's feelings is to ignore them. So if we don't talk about God, if we don't worship God, if we don't pray, if we don't have conversations about how we believe about the Lord, we're ignoring him. And that hurts his feelings more than anything else because he wants to be in that relationship. We should be able to talk about politics. And we should be able to talk about it in such a way where there are some things that we can agree to disagree. But we need to be able to have these conversations. We need to be able to have them peacefully, and we need to be able to have them, civilly. And there's no other country in the world, well, there are a few others, but not many, where those freedoms exist.
So you'd be proud of Sophie if she was your player right now?
100%. And Benny, you got to be intentional. You have to be intentional. If you come to the Auburn basketball camp as a young boy, you're telling me that someday you might want to be on the floor and play for Auburn basketball. So you know what we do the very first day of camp? We line our student athletes and our campers up just like my players are lined up. And we sing the Star Spangled Banner. We sing God Bless America. Why do we do that? Because that's what my players do before every single game. With our right hand over our heart, with our left hand behind our back. If you want to come to play for Auburn, you're going to honor the flag before the game. If you want to come to this basketball camp, this is what we're going to do. And these are the things we're going to teach. When my team was banging down threes and dunking, so on and so forth, we didn't have a lot of geriatrics. We did this. This was calling God. When my guys were banging a three, they were calling God. I was getting emails, Benny, from 8-year-old parents of 8-year-old girls going, Coach, I watched my daughter. She was in a game. She knocked down a three and she calling God. Again, these things, this was intentional. This was intentional. She was calling it out. And I think that's something we all should do. So the state of sports in the country has really broken quite a fever dream. The sports were the tip of the spear in order to, I think, drive wokeness deep into the heart of society, starting with, of course, Kaepernick taking a knee for the national anthem that expanded to basketball in quite a significant way. So tweet in my timeline this morning, I was actually looking for it right now, that they stopped all NBA 2K players from playing just so that you could, on a digital format, like make the players like kneel for BLM. I mean, it was insane. Like if you didn't live through the woke era, it'd be hard to really describe it to people.
But that seems to be a reversal there. You didn't see any of that at the World Cup. You didn't see any of that. You saw a lot of love for Team America. You saw like nothing but an outpouring of like pure patriotism. You saw no real politicking on the team either, which is wonderful. Like, I don't need all the players to be wearing MAGA hats. I want them to just love America. I want them to be wearing the flag, right? Can you talk about the greater state of the like sports landscape and where it's moving?
Well, I agree with you, and I'm grateful that we are beginning to move in our direction. You know, some people say they don't want to have, any politics in sports. That's just not realistic. We recognize what our job to do in sports and entertainment. That's what our focus is winning championships and training, and the accountability and the discipline, so on and so forth. But at the same time, if you're going to wear the Auburn jersey and you're going to represent your university and the alumni and the people there, you got to understand what that means. A lot of things that are happening with our young people, Benny, I don't blame these kids. I don't blame the student athletes regarding NIL and all these transfers. I don't blame sometimes when kids do and say things that I'm embarrassed by, that anger me tremendously. Part of it is because we've not taught them. So what have we taught at universities? What have we taught in high schools? That we're not allowed to honor the flag, that we're not allowed to sing God Bless America, God's not allowed to be in our school. What message does that say? And then as they get older, how do they act? You're a young black student athlete. You've been racially profiled. You've been driving by black. You felt racism. It's just a fact. The question then becomes, do you want to use dishonoring our flag as an opportunity to protest? Or how about this? Let's honor our flag, and then let's raise money so that students that are qualified who maybe look like me have an opportunity to come to school with me. How about doing something positive like that? My team's always stood for the flag. At the same time, I always recognize some of the challenges that my black student athletes, 90% of the kids that I coached were African-American men. And what I had to do, Benny, is make sure they understood, yeah, there are going to be obstacles to your success, but there aren't roadblocks. Not in this country. These can all be navigated. But we're not going to dishonor our country in order to bring out protest that things aren't perfect as we try to become a better nation.
Yeah, like people are allowed to believe whatever they believe, whether it's completely fake, which most of it is, or whether it's completely put upon or psyoped, or the data has been completely and totally broken, bent, and manipulated in order to make people think that they're oppressed. They're not. But they'll bring that to the sports field. Like, again, like I don't like the goal, like the way that you stop like a Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light situation is to not put Dylan Mulvaney on the can, not to put like Donald Trump on the can, and like a MAGA version of it. Like the point is to just do the thing you're supposed to do. Play sports, right? If you want to run for politics, you should run for politics. You should go run for office, right? If you want to be a politician and go be a political activist, but don't bring that into the sports arena, whether it's left or right, as far as I'm concerned. And don't bring it into movies, Hollywood, entertainment,
But when you wear the USA, when you wear that uniform, you are representing your country. And so therefore, I do think there's a level of responsibility to act accordingly. And then, you know what? When you're off the court, okay, for me as a coach, I never bought my political beliefs to the court. Yes. I coached my team. But when I was off the court, as you well know from following me on social media, you're going to know how I feel politically about faith and about family. And isn't it beautiful that we can do both in this country?
Totally. I just there should be arenas for both, right? And like I think that with so much that we've lost in the country, that's why I asked this question. It's so like profoundly important. We're having there's like a big debate raging about the Odyssey right now because this Hollywood director took this timeless classic written before the time of Christ and butchered it and made it into something like modern and woke. And do you have the right to do that? And what does that say about modern society? And I think people just want to be entertained and not lectured to. And there needs to be pressure release valves in society, and sports is one of those pressure release valves. And if you go to a sporting event to like chill out and you get nothing but messaging, nothing but like political propaganda, you like get rid of that time for all of us to be together and root for Team USA. And I think that's, it's critical to have those things.
Benny, wouldn't it be awesome if we could bottle the energy around just Go Hawks or War Eagle or Roll Tide or
That's right.
the passion of our states and our universities around athletic competition, if we could take that same passion and translate it into faith, family, and country, we continue to be heading in the right direction. And I think we're getting there. I really, truly do. We just got to make that transition.
You can follow Bruce. He shouted himself out on social media. I mean, you can follow the guy, but I got to put up a social media post for you. Just get your reaction here, Coach. This is remarkable. I don't know if you are subtweeting for the White House right now or not. Klein, yeah, the wrong post up. There you go, bud. I don't know if this is like you running the White House account. I don't know. It says MAGA, and it says the caption is POTUS knows ball, elite ball knowledge. What do you think? Were you advising the White House to post this? And it's Donald Trump, of course, shooting threes with paper towels.
No, I don't work for the White House. I don't work for anybody. I love my country, and I love what President Trump is doing. As a basketball coach, Benny, and I entered the arena of politics while I was coaching again with my social media account. And I came out in support of President Trump, strongly in support of President Trump. There were articles written in USA Today and on CNN that said, why would an African-American ever play college basketball for Bruce Pearl? Why? Because I felt like Kamala Harris was not qualified to lead our country. I didn't like her policies. I didn't like the way she treated I didn't like her foreign policy. As an American Jew, I didn't like the way she treated Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I didn't trust that she would stand with Israel against terrorism. And so I made those feelings known off the court, and I got blasted, okay, for supporting President Trump. You understand what that feels like, and I did so at risk to my own career. But guess what? There were plenty of players that still wanted to play for me. We won 5 SEC championships in 8 years. We went to 2 Final Fours. And so if somebody didn't want to play for me because of my political views or because I was a proud Jewish American, that's fine. There were other players that did. And I wish the other ones, I wish them good luck.
Well, you had a great run of good luck, and you're doing incredible work right now at AFPI. Everybody should support that work and follow Bruce Pearl. Here's the coach's social media. Perhaps you already follow him. I don't know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's got 200,000 subscribers here on X. He's a man who's just spitting knowledge. Elite ball knowledge, just like Donald Trump shooting threes with the paper towels. I love that. I know the guy who runs that account. And I was like, ALX and I were texting him like, this is elite content. It's elite content. Well done. All right. Thank you, Bruce. Godspeed. Come back soon.
Thank you, Benny.
Advantage Gold. Come on, man. Come on. Golden era. 10 years ago, a dozen eggs would cost like 50 cents. $1. I've seen eggs below $1. I've seen a dozen eggs below $1. Have you? I've seen gas below $1. I've seen things. Okay. I've seen McDonald's dollar menu. You ever seen one of those? Were you ever gifted? Were you blessed enough to see the McDonald's dollar menu? ALX, grab the McDonald's dollar menu. Can you? Like, were you blessed enough to see it? Ooh. It was a different America. It really was. I watched my country change overnight. It's bad. It's bad. It's like we went to war. We did go to war, and it destroyed everything. It's very sad, actually. You don't have to run your currency into worthlessness. That's normally, though, what happens with world currencies. It all gets destroyed. It all collapses. It all goes down to its basic element. Ooh, there it is. Oh, man. That's painful. That's painful. You can pop it up. Boy, look at the country that we had not too long ago either. What are we talking here? Like the year 2000? Look at what you could get. You could walk in with a $5 bill and get like a 3-course meal at McDonald's. I'm not sure it was healthy for you exactly, but the McDouble was actually incredibly healthy. They did studies that the McDouble had actually the most protein per cost, like per penny spent of any food on the market. So well done. But those days are gone. So I encourage you to invest in something that actually matters. Precious metals, which of course there are a finite amount of, and you should invest with Advantage Gold. Text Benny to 85545. Text Benny to 85545. Get your free gold investment kit and learn a simple, free, IRS-approved strategy to move your 401k or IRA into physical gold, tax and penalty free. Text Benny to 85545 right now. Golden era. Lock and load. Lock and load. We asked Brandon Gill or Jim Banks if they could pop on the show. I know Brandon was already on this week. They introduced brand new legislation for ending birthright citizenship with the children of illegal aliens, which is awesome. And I'm a huge fan of this. And announcements for next week. We have some huge guests, and it's going to be an exciting week. So get ready to lock in. The Citizenship Act would exclude all illegal invaders from birthright citizenship. This is exactly what we need. The Supreme Court has failed us, ladies and gentlemen. But don't you worry. We will keep fighting on. And we're, frankly, better than we've been in a very long time. Things are looking up. I really do believe that. I really sincerely believe it. I have a lot of faith. We're going to be heading up east. We got some meetings in Washington, D.C. on Monday. I'm going to be traveling with my kids, show them some original 13 Colonies Americana this weekend. I had some nostalgia during July 4th. I was like, okay, well, we should start telling, our kids are old enough. We should start telling them the story of America. So that's what we're going to do this weekend. What are you going to do this weekend? We haven't done a Benny in the chat for a long time. And I keep saying that this is what we got to do more of. Well, stupid me. Why aren't we doing more of it? So let's do it right now. Let's go for a couple minutes. We should do this like every single show. And I'm upset. I should stop. I should be like one guest a show, and then the whole rest of the show is in the chat, and we can just talk about what you want to talk about. So ALX, I want, I want to. Let's just do like 10 minutes. I'll just take comment. We'll just do comments for 10 minutes. So let's rock and roll. Here we go. What's up? What up, chat? Okay. Here we go. We do get a lot of chats. So give me a second. We'll start with the starred. Long live Marcus Rubius, first of his name, from Avalos. Yep. Correct. I think that Marco would make a great president. I'm a big time Team JD fan. ALX, do we have any other good Marco Rubio clips? ALX got a ton of Marco Rubio clips. We were only able to get 3 of them up. And we were only able to play one of them. Alex, we got any other good Marco Rubio clips from today? Marco Rubio, of course, meeting with the Russians today. United States should not be sending. No. Well, I know you have clips. Tell me if is there a good one, that's consistent with what we've been talking about. Let me know. And if it is, then pop it up. United States should not be sending. See, this is a you-directed show, as we always say. And I appreciate, I appreciate everybody taking it easy on us as we move studios, as we rebuild, as I want to spend a little bit of time this summer with my kids, so we don't do a show on Friday this summer. Letting me have a little breather from going live. I love it, and get us rested and relaxed and locked in. Okay, for what's about to happen, because what's about to happen is about to be gangbusters. Gangbusters. Marco Rubio goes off on a reporter. Okay, because you asked the Marco Rubio question, here we go. We have a Marco Rubio clip for you. This is a chat-driven show. And believe me, through the 2028 election, this will be the show where you are part of the show. Okay? So here we go. Marco Rubio.
Russia sharing information with Iran targeting U.S. troops?
Well, who says that they are?
Are they not?
Who says they are?
Pike said the knowledge that Russia was enabling in some ways, Russia and China.
Yeah, but that's a different question from what you just asked me. Who said that they're doing
There's
that?
been reporting that there's...
Reporting in the media?
Yeah.
Oh, then it must be true.
So
it's in the media. It's a leaker. I'm not going to, let's imagine that were true. I certainly wouldn't discuss it in the press. I've already told you guys yesterday something, and I was very clear about it. Nothing that Iran is doing, nothing that anyone's doing to help Iran is in any way increasing their ability to target Americans. What you need to all understand, because we've explained this repeatedly, is Iran has spent the better part of 20 years not just sponsoring terrorism, but building long-range rockets, short-range missiles, and drones. And they were intending to build them a lot more. They were intending to double their stockpile of the stuff you're seeing them use now. They were going to double that. And they were going to use that and hide behind that to say, we're untouchable. We can now do a nuclear weapon, and you guys can't touch us or we'll overwhelm your air defenses.
So Marco Rubio's saying, like, putting down the rumor that Russia is helping Iran. Now, we know as a matter of fact, it was reported by a ton of credible outlets, including Fox News, that Russia has sent Iran technology to help in the targeting of these missiles, the firing of these missiles. Is Russia actually launching the missiles, right, or assisting in that direct targeting? Rubio seems to slap that down and then slap around the reporter a little bit, which is awesome. Marco's doing great, man. Marco's doing amazing. What do you think, chat? Marco or JD? I love asking this question. What do you think, chat? Are you the Marco team? Are you team JD? I got to be honest with you. I'm team JD. I really like JD Vance. I really like Marco Rubio. To be perfectly frank with you, I kind of hope that they run as a ticket. And I know this is not a novel idea. Donald Trump talks about this a lot. But we've got to know JD. We've got to know his team. And this is not anything against Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio has been a guest on our show multiple times. He's joined us live. One time, I think, from the gym, as like he was like wearing a backwards baseball hat. And whatever. We have nothing but love for Marco Rubio. I view JD Vance as the most valuable player for President Trump. And that's like without question. It's without question. I view Marco Rubio as the most improved player. I am shocked at how good he is as Secretary of State. He is no doubt our best Secretary of State we've ever had in my lifetime, for sure. Right? In my lifetime. He just runs circles around everybody else. Awesome. So I love them maybe as a ticket. Here we go. Senators, Congress unable to think of anything. Tell them all. Detain them in Gitmo. I love that. That Gitmo line is going to fly from Tuberville. That Gitmo line is going to fly. And we just want to say thank you for the gift of member for 15 months. Wow. Thank you, Ron, the Don Smith. Best show in America, The Benny Show. Let's go, baby. Let's do some live comments. It's kind of hard because they roll in really quickly. Maybe can my producers jump in and help me out a little bit here? I am not for Darlene Graham. She is going to be a female version of Lindsay. I mean, she's literally a female version of Lindsay. It's like, I don't like birthright senatorship. Can I just say that? That's what this is. This is birthright senatorship. I don't like it. I don't like the whole like, we'll just replace this happens all the time in politics, by the way. This is not some new thing with Lindsey Graham. The guy died, so we'll replace him with his wife, right? Or his mistress, takes the seat. No, that's not the way it should be. And I don't think that's more like English nobility, like houses of lords kind of thing, where like the title travels through the family. That's not this country. Thankfully, the people of South Carolina will be able to vote what they think. But I don't really like, frankly, I don't like that. South Carolina is a dark red state. We've already seen a rhino problem, of course, in South Carolina. I don't speak ill of the dead. I'm certainly not going to be some type of like some guy that crashes out on Lindsey Graham or anything like that. You saw, I certainly disagreed with him. He's an extremely talented politician. And I knew the guy. Like, I'd worked with him before. He's a nice guy. Okay? He's a nice guy. But I don't believe in birthright senatorship. That's what this is. Oh, it's mine. It's my right by birth because it was my brother. I don't think so. I don't like that system. I don't like it when it's the wife or the mistress or the maid. Okay? Which I think we're all well aware who's pulling the strings with Mitch McConnell right now. Am I wrong? Right. Thank you for the honest truth. It says Joanne Frazier. Well, thank you, Joanne. This is we have a blast doing this. No more female replacements, please. I mean, honestly, guys, like Amy Coney Barrett's been a problem. Hair's going crazy today. Amy Coney Barrett's been a problem. That's just a fact. Been a problem. There's a different appeal There's a different sensibility. We talked about the difference between men and women on the show. God designed women differently. It's knit together differently. And you can appeal to emotionality, children, emotional arguments that aren't grounded in fact, that aren't grounded in, choosing the better, harder, more brutal choice, but for the common good. That kind of stuff can really get muddled when you're pandering with emotional language and arguments. And that kind of stuff, like science proves it, appeals more to women, obviously. This is why there's something called femme-coded. And soap operas are femme-coded. Daytime television are femme-coded. The View is femme-coded. And the arguments in our politics then become suddenly femme-coded, and you can manipulate based on that. And so, yeah. There you go. People are saying that she's no good. Oh, man, here we go. Everyone is so angry at the way that I pronounce nuclear. Nuclear. Am I saying it right now? ALX? Nuclear. Nuclear. Okay. Nuclear. I think I say it right, but everyone gets very angry at me and says you're saying it all wrong. Look at this. Great comment here from Rumble. And then the last comment was from Rumble too. Pence just wanted to get along and be nice to Democrats, and then the election was stolen. Correct. This gets you nowhere. It gets you nowhere. What do you people who are trying to do this whole people who are trying to do this whole kumbaya thing, right? Chip Roy was on yesterday. I don't know if you saw the show yesterday. Chip Roy was on, and he's like, Abigail Spanberger, she's like the evil witch communist who's in charge of Virginia now, and has done everything to just destroy Virginia and to disenfranchise Republicans and to run with a guy that wants to kill Republican children. And she's an evil monster. She's a monster. And Chip Roy was like, but we wrote legislation together. Shut up, Chip Roy. Love Chip Roy. But shut up, dude. You should be disavowing her, you should be disavowing. This is humiliation. What she's doing right now, how she's governing that state. And what, okay, so she wrote some legislation to ban stock trading from you, but then look at what happens when she's actually allowed to be her true self. Nuclear. You can pronounce it any way you want, says Fanger. Thank you, Fanger. I'm not saying that dismissively. It looks like you're an incredible scuba diver. And also, thank you. Yes. Look at this, Marco. People want Marco, although they spell it wrong. Is everyone going to jump on Debbie Machinas, 1682? Everyone going to jump on her because she said, I can say nuclear any way I want. Nuclear. My production team is no help. They're no good. They're no help. I'm asking for a pronunciation. I think it sounds right in my ear. I come from Iowa. It's supposed to be a place with non-regional diction. Iowa is where they send broadcasters to learn how to talk as boring as possible and to say words correctly. So I'm pretty proud of that I think I have I think I have a pretty good timbrance of ding, 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 ding. You just talk like a Midwesterner, right? Everyone can sort of, roll with it. And man, apparently that's the one everyone rips me whenever I say the word nuclear.
Never go full retard.
Never go full nuclear. Nuclear. All right. Okay, here we go. How about we renew patriotism, says Ed Brown. Yep, agree. Okay. I have a bunch of old school games to still play. This is from Old Fart. Well, thank you, Old Fart from Rumble. What was your favorite video game? What's your favorite old school video game? There was an old school. So when I would go to the original Red Hut Pizza Hut, I'm sure you had one in your hometown. I had one in my hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm actually from a small suburb of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in the middle of truly nowhere called Shoeyville, Iowa, if you are familiar. So that's where I was raised. Shueyville, Iowa had one gas station that was also the video rental shop. That was also the pizza place. So all of those things. And the donut shop. That's all in one gas station. So anyway, exciting times. And when we would go into the big city, which was Cedar Rapids, there was a Pizza Hut. And we would go to that Pizza Hut. And there was an X-Men game. And that's what we would play. It was awesome. And it was a huge treat when I get a quarter to go play the X-Men game. You know, the old school, like maybe you can find the video, like the old school X-Men that were like walking across the screen. It's like 2D, you know? It was the original X-Men arcade game. Freaking awesome. Dude, Wolverine, sweet Cyclops, so cool. I don't know what games you would play. Do you have a favorite old arcade game? Are you from the Pac-Man era, right? What era are you from? You know, are you from like the Jurassic Park, Jungle Hunt era? Yeah, this was it. Yep, this was it. This was it. This is my old school game. This was the thing. Man, if you got some stuffed crust pizza, stuffed crust pepperoni pizza, and you just played this all day, you played this all night, folks, we are winning. I want Adam Schiff in prison. Pac-Man. Here we go. Oh, now we're going to do gamer stuff? Okay, let's go. Bring it. Gamer stuff, let's go. And I want to begin by saying I'm not a gamer, all right? So if you're going to talk to me about some console or some system or some Fortnite thing, not that. I can't. I do this all day. I don't have time to do that. I have kids. No hate. This is not a hate thing. But I don't have time to do that. Pac-Man is my favorite old school video game. Benny Johnson says Patricia Holman Holly. It's pretty cool, right? Thank you. Thank you for backing me up. And then still, thank you, Lori Burgess, for backing me up. I can't believe anyone cares how I say it with 3 syllables. Nuclear. 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 Okay. Here we go. Caterpillar. Missy Miller says Caterpillar. Lucy says asteroids. Liz P says Galaga. Nice. These are some good ones. Here we go. They Love Charlie. What up? Haven't talked to J Love Charlie in a while. Oh, I can feel the old X-Men didn't come out till I was 10. Well, wait a second. When you're 10, They Love Charlie. That's exactly when you should be playing X-Men. I don't think you should be playing it before then. It's somewhat violent. Make arcade games great again. That's exactly right. Wow. Galaga, nice. Wow, nerd. Tony says no. Tony calls us a nerd. There we go. JD Marco, 2028. Okay. Space Invaders and Centipede. There you go. Oh, come on. Look at this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's right. The old arcade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So awesome. Yes, so awesome. Shueyville is a real place. People are like, no, Shueyville sounds fake. Leanne Shuey. Oh, Leanne Shuey. How many Shueys are in Shueyville? Okay. Klein, get it for me on a map. Klein just pulled up. Shueyville has a population of 700 people at the time of the 2020 census. Okay, cool. So I'm from a town of 700 people. Asteroids. Ah, nice. Donkey Kong. How could you forget Donkey Kong? Paulie Mouth. 9630. Here we go. There it is. When I say the middle of nowhere, I mean nowhere. It's like that's where I'm from. Where are you from? You from somewhere? Or are you from nowhere? Most people in America are from nowhere. Shueyville, baby. It's now on PS5. Old Marvel games, cool. Oh, Pong era is Napolstan. Pong, come on, man. Pong's awesome. Greetings from Mount Vernon, Iowa. That's not too far away. The Japanese fighter games were fun for 2 players. Japanese fighter games. Joust. I'm seeing lots of Pac-Man here from Clyde. Pac-Man machine at the Pizza Hut. Can I get a photo of like what that used to look like? You guys remember like that? It was like so greasy because it was like a low game. It's not exactly what we wanted to like talk about today, but Why not? I remember the first Space Invaders game says Rasa Illusion when it arrived at the bowling alley. Did you have the high score, Rasa? Did you have the high score? I went here. Love you, Benny. Love you back. Love Street. Love you back. Got some Galaga here from Days Boy. Days Boy says Galaga. Lady Liberty says Pac-Man. Did you ever get the high score, Pac-Man? Were you able to get to like the arch level that's like almost impossible to beat? Come on, Paperboy. I remember that. The gold Game Boy game, Paperboy. Yo, if you're for real, you remember that. And Galaga, Christine Michelle remembers that. Pinball, there we go. Toledo Jess says pinball. Those pinball machines are tons of fun. If you ever see a pinball machine, it's kind of hard to find them out in the wild these days. Dude, pinball machines are tons of fun. Look at that. Look at that. I have never seen the actual Pizza Hut Pac-Man hybrid, baby. Pizza Hut and Pac-Man went on a tasty vacation to Cabo San Lucas. And they had an all-inclusive. And they went marlin hunting, romantic nights on the beach, and they came back with a baby. And here's the baby that they made together. Look at that. I've never actually seen the hybrid version of that. That's at a Pizza Hut? That's a Pizza Hut? That's an impressive Pizza Hut. A very impressive Pizza Hut. Here we go. Asteroids. Pac-Man and asteroids. Yep. A quarter is $5 today. It did. It cost a quarter though. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game was the she. That's right, dude. James Compton. Teenage Mutant Turtles arcade game wasn't incredible. Mortal Kombat was awesome too. I just don't know. I don't know. It's like impossible for me. Oh, that's so cool. Like pop that up. In case we're feeling like nostalgic here, producer Danny has an incredible little bit of news for us. It is a news show after all. Pizza Hut. Hundreds of Pizza Hut locations will be bringing back retro Pizza Hut. Red roofs, actual huts, red cups, nostalgic dining experiences. Show me those dining experiences, please. Oh yeah, baby. Yes, give me the lamps. Look at all those places. Are you near one of those? Look at all those in Iowa. Nice. Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri. Are you near one of these? Are you in Montana or North Carolina, Ohio? Quite a few in Oklahoma there, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas. Look at all those in Texas. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. You can play some Space Invader. Bring back the old arcade games is what I'm saying. Bring back the old arcade games. You're Worthless is telling me, Benny, it's on PS5 now. Okay. Look at these. The hybrid Pizza Hut arcade game. That is so awesome. Man. Till my 40s, kick the balls hard, says Kibbs Else. Is that a game? Okay. Centipede, Donkey Kong, Fighter Ace. I was ranked 46 in the world. Whoa. That's pretty impressive. Honestly, playing against the autists of the world, that is very impressive for anger. Bring back giant console games. Yes, bring it back. What was your high score on Centipede? They Love Charlie. Did you do it? Gen X remembers Pong. That's right. Too old for arcades. All right. Well, was it a pinball, Red Ron? Was it pinball for you, FJB, Red Ron? Dragon's Lair was the ultimate. I'm not familiar with Dragon's Lair. Does that make me a loser? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one. It was not available in the Cedar Rapids Pizza Hut. Okay. All right. Personal pan pizza. That's exactly right, Joshua. That's exactly right. Ooh, okay. We'll end it with this. I wanted to just maybe have a little like chill out with the chat. Street Fighter 2 was awesome. Two things I want. I love what you just sent, okay? But I want to show the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle gameplay. Does anybody understand like exactly how elite the X-Men was what I had at my Pizza Hut. But elite was being able to find a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game. And can you show the gameplay for that? If you want to talk nostalgia, man, it's like my favorite. Some Street Fighter, some Atari. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. What is happening? Is it Shredder? Look at that. Come on, dude. The foot soldiers. The foot. Yo. I thought it was a turtle. I thought it was a turtle. I went back and forth between Donatello and Raphael. Those were my favorites. And I thought it was a turtle. And what's amazing is that my parents, while it was cute that I thought that, my parents never once bought me a terrarium to live in, right? And got surgically attached a shell to my back. Isn't that neat? That you could, like, kids could just sort of live in innocence and imagination without their parents mutilating them? Cool. That's like kind of like what being a kid is. And then those kids grow up and they get, because they are stable human beings and they learned eventually reality that I'm not a turtle. Now I can provide childhoods for my children and not mutilate them. Also, it's a wonderful cycle that we get into. Uh-oh. Bebop. Rocksteady. Oh boy. Are they going to win? We don't know. It's tough. It's tough out there. Mean streets. It's actually what it looks like in Mondami's, New York. This is actually, I had no idea this was set in 2026 in Mondami, New York. Okay. Can you believe it only costs $0.25? Sherry Ann, you remember that. I bet you do. I bet you do remember these costing $0.25. Combat Asteroid. Man, people saying Pac-Man at Pizza Hut was it. Mortal Kombat. I made a character named Shalamanly. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I didn't realize that there were so many, like, I didn't realize that this had such a rock, paper, scissors. I didn't realize that I'd touch on something here. I didn't realize that people would have such great opinions on this. Okay. Awesome. I'm sorry if this wasn't your thing. I know that it is a like, I'm obviously showing my age here, maybe. I don't know. But there was a America that was much better country and a much better place, and we can go have it back. We can have our homeland back again, by God. And this was part of it. Being able to, here's what Spudnik says. Back in school, we would take the girls out on a date, go to a movie, Pizza Hut. You could buy a beer back then at 18. Big pan pizza, pitcher of beer, good times. And what did it cost, Spudnik? I bet it cost you like $10-20 maybe for the whole night. What it cost you? Now that's the Pac-Man game that I remember. The one with the big greasy like glass top. Sit there with the joystick. Dang, dang, dang. What did it cost you? It cost you $20, maybe less. Movie, pizza, beer, and you bought the whole thing. Yeah. So like the point is that this is elite culture. This is elite culture. The good old days, says Days Boy. Yeah, that's exactly right. And we should, that's right. Everybody, Lori Lewis, everybody had $0.25. Even poor kids had $0.25. Yes, that's right. Even poor kids, like the minimum wage was like $5. And so your mom could give you like $1 and you could play 4 video games on that. And we should get that back. We should get that back. President Trump wants to get it back. President Trump was in a Pizza Hut commercial. Here we go.
I think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana.
What will people think?
Let them talk.
Ivana.
It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large, just $9.99.
$9.99. A large pepperoni stuffed crust pizza. It's like probably $20 right now for one of those. I don't know. Is there pizzaflation? I'm not sure. Can we get the Trump McDonald's ad with Grimace? That's just my all-time favorite. And then we'll close it all down. Then we'll close it all down. Sorry, guys. We're just having too much fun. I want to, like, I love the chat. And because we talked about the dollar menu. We put the dollar menu up. We talked about the dollar menu. We're talking about Pizza Hut nostalgia. Pizza Hut maximalist, dollar menu maximalist. Here we go. Our president's seen it all. He's been literally a part of it. Here we go.
I don't know how you do it. I put together some really impressive deals. But this thing you've pulled off, it's amazing. A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret?
Got a buck? You're in luck. Because you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty, a McChicken sandwich, and lots of your other favorites on McDonald's Dollar Menu every day.
Together, Grimace, we could own this town.
Now, actually, go to the last frame of that. Go to the last frame of that.
I don't know.
That's what it would have looked like if President Trump had run with Chris Christie. That's what the ticket would have looked like. This is what it looks like before Donald Trump threw Chris Christie out of the window. Metaphorically. This would have been the ticket. There's a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of talk. Chris Christie was still relatively popular. There's a lot of talk about that. So this is what that ticket would have looked like. Yeah. Yeah. Too bad. Now this is what it's going to look like when Donald Trump sends Letitia James to jail. This is what it's He ate a donut on the David Letterman show. What are you doing, bro? Real problems there. Real problems. I ran into Chris Christie the other day at the Amtrak station in DC. Yeah, it's not a great advertisement for Ozempic, is all I will say. This is an advertisement for term limits. Mitch McConnell, will he step down from the Senate? Here's our poll, ladies and gentlemen of the day. It was at 83% on July 7th. 83%. It's now collapsed. Mitch McConnell keeps posting these proof of life photos. Everybody keeps saying that they're AI. ALX says they're not AI. I don't know. I'm split. Once a day, I send ALX like a Mitch McConnell AI like proof of life photo and say, "Is it real? Is it real? Help me." Still, though, it's at 40% that he will resign before his term. Ladies and gentlemen, we resign ourselves to the glory of the Lord, and that will keep us strong. From Proverbs 19:8, our verse of the day. The one who gets wisdom loves life. The one who cherishes understanding will soon prosper. Every morning I get on my knees. It's the first thing I do, and I pray for wisdom. I pray for strength. I pray for wisdom. And those are the things that I ask God for. And I think that's what you need in life, especially if you are trying to fight for your kids and trying to fight for your country. And so that's what we're praying for, ladies and gentlemen. And that's our prayer for you, and that you will cherish understanding and prosper, and that you'll march with us onto victory. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have a show on Friday. We're just going to do that for the summer, just to have like a little bit of a decompression time with the kids. My kids are young and little, and we want to enjoy that time. And so we say blessings to you, and have an incredible weekend in this, the greatest country on earth. Godspeed. Remember, we're going to win, Patriots. And we'll do so by bringing back the original Pizza Hut and those arcade games that I didn't realize our audience loved so much. Have a great weekend. See ya.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun, we sail for #1. to mine the salt from lids for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.